So I'd like to thank Dr. Judith Koenig for joining us today. She's been working on innovative therapies for treating lameness in horses. Dr. Koenig, can you briefly describe your research project?
We are looking at using shockwave to stimulate stem cells to heal faster. That's a study that has been now underway for about 3 years. And it comes from the idea that anecdotally in practice, practitioners are injecting stem cells into tendons, and then they are treating shortly after they have injected stem cells into a lesion in a tendon, then they are treating them with shockwave. And the impression of the practitioners was that this results in better quality healing. But anecdotal evidence is not enough, so people have decided to go ahead and look at that a little bit closer, and there's very little to no research done in horses looking at the effect of shockwave on stem cells.
And what are the potential applications of your research for horse owners?
Well, it's originally, as we started out with it, all we wanted to really see if there is an effect of stem cells on shockwave, the other way around, of shockwave on stem cells. And we were hoping that we can prove that there's a benefit, and it will allow us to inject these tendons with stem cells and then treat them with shockwave, and that they will have a better quality healing and return faster to the sport they desire. But as we started out, we actually had, after our first in vitro trial, which was Dr. Salcido's graduate project, we had some surprising results. And out of that, we had the idea that one could perhaps prime the stem cells in the lab with shockwave outside of the body, and then inject them into tendons when they are already induced or stimulated. So that's the second phase we are working on now. So the second project we are working on is that we are actually looking if stem cells injected into a horse's tendon has an influence on healing and improves the quality of healing. And the novel idea behind it is that we are using unrelated stem cells from foals that basically we harvest the umbilical cord blood when they are born, and then we extract the stem cells that were in the umbilical cord. We extract them and expand them, and then we freeze them. And so they are available off the shelf for horses to be used. And so we have a clinical trial investigating the use and the reaction of the horses to these stem cells. And what's also novel is that we repeat inject them with these stem cells. And we are currently enrolling actively racing or training thoroughbreds in this study.
And how has the research funding from Ontario Equestrian helped to generate important new information in this area?
Well, we are very grateful for that funding, and we are using the funding from the Ontario Equestrian Federation to allow us to have a control group that is treated with platelet-rich plasma. And we are using that funding to help us support a control group, because the platelet-rich plasma in injection in tendons is very commonly used, and the product can be made with a system that one can purchase. And then we are using these test kits, or these kits, to make the platelet-rich plasma that the company has donated. And the Ontario Equestrian Federation money is helping us to follow these horses, inject them, do all the ultrasounds. So it's a very important contribution to help us with a control group funding to make the whole research better and compare the stem cells, repeated stem cells, with platelet-rich plasma.
As a rider and a veterinarian, what precautions do you take when starting a horse back into training after a significant amount of time off?
Well, I think this is an extremely important question right now, where with COVID-19, a lot of people are not allowed to ride their horses, and you almost have to look like you are starting, maybe not from scratch, but you need to allow at least a 6-week training period for the athletes to be slowly brought back and build up some muscle and cardiovascular fitness before they can be allowed to work hard. So basically, both their stamina and their muscle mass has to be retrained.
Any other tips for lameness prevention?
Lameness prevention is a very important topic. I think it is more important that people really follow when they work with their horses a warm-up protocol. So when you take your horse out of the stall to tack it up, you want to always look at the horse, make sure there's no swelling anywhere, and you want to feel their legs before you go ride, make sure there is no heat or swelling anywhere in the limbs, and that the horse is sound when you walk it. And then, like with any athlete, you need to allow them to gradually warm up before you ask them to work hard. Even if you just go out trail riding, you want to always walk them for at least 10 minutes on some more even level ground before you start asking them to do any more, so that they don't hurt themselves. When you put the horse back after you have gone out riding, it's very important to again feel their limbs, pick up their feet, look that there is no stones or any other things stuck in between the frog and the bar of the foot, and make sure there is no bruising anywhere on the toe, and feel the limbs, make sure there's no swelling or heat in it, and let them cool off before you put them back in a stall.
Is there any closing points you'd like to leave us with about your research or lameness prevention in general?
Well, I think the closing remarks is that it's very exciting to be able to look into tissue healing and to see if there is anything that can prevent the awful scar formation a lot of horses have after tendon injury, and that they don't have such a high re-injury rate. And I'm just very excited to be working with different technologies to see if they have an effect. And I'm also very excited to be working with such a tremendous team here at OVC.